Now that you've upgraded to eSilo's latest version of Offsite Backups, which is our full image backups powered by Veeam, you might be wondering, how do you know whether or not the backups were successful? How do you know if your servers and your computers are adequately protected? And so the interface that you're going to see, the daily reports, are going to look a little bit different than what you might be used to. So I wanted to record this video to just briefly make you aware of some of the differences with your new backup service. So for those of you who were used to the legacy eSilo file-based backup, you would typically have gotten a report in your inbox every morning that would list all of the different files that errored out during the backup or were otherwise skipped or unprotected. That way, if you knew what those files were, you could close the files or make some adjustments, rerun the backup, and ensure that they were protected. Well, with the new backups that you have, that antiquated process goes away in its entirety. The way that the backup works for a full image backup is completely different than a file-based backup. So instead of processing files individually, listing every single file on your computer and analyzing it and sending off its bits and bytes to the backup service, instead, what you have right now is based on snapshots. So not to go bore you with all of the technical details, but there are some native Windows components, if you're using a Windows machine, that we leverage as a part of our backup software in order to take a snapshot or a picture of everything on your hard drive as of a moment in time. And we use that snapshot as the basis for your backups. And why is that important? Well, when we have a snapshot-based methodology for performing backups, that enables us to protect or back up files that are open and in use at the time the backup program runs, files that might be otherwise locked by the operating system or by a specific application. And it also enables us to back up a live running database without causing any corruption. So there are a whole host of advantages to this snapshot-based methodology for the backups. But the biggest benefit, I think, is from a user perspective, where you no longer have to go through a list of files that were maybe skipped or errored out during the backup. Instead, the answer is binary. Either your backups were successful or they failed. It's either all files are protected or none. And so it becomes really simple to see at a glance, right? Red, yellow, green, which of your servers and computers were protected the night before. And you can see that dashboard at any point in time if you want to log into your eSilo portal at portal.esilo.com. Or we also have it configured to go out to you in a weekly status report that usually comes out every Saturday morning. Now, some of you want more frequent status reports, so we actually can have those sent to you every single day. So it mimics a little bit more of the type of reporting that you might have been used to before. But we also find that oftentimes when you get an email every single day, it's really easy to get used to that email being successful. And over time, you get a little complacent. You don't always open it to check and see. And so what we found is that a weekly report that gives you a digest of the activity during the week with the most recent backup date and time has been the most effective to ensure it still gets everybody's attention and still communicates what you need to know, which is, hey, whether or not my backups were successful. So I hope that this was helpful. The only other thing that I would maybe add that people haven't necessarily asked as much about, but you might see when you open one of those status emails, is that in addition to success or failure, there's a third status, which is warning. And if you see a warning, which is yellow in the red, yellow, green scheme, yellow or warning simply means that there's some information that you might need to be aware of as the owner of that machine, but that the backup itself still completed. It was still successful. We just want to make sure that you have this additional piece of information. So oftentimes those warning messages will say the source drive is maybe running low on disk space. It's almost full. Or the backup software can't wake your computer from sleep because of the sleep settings on the machine. Or in other cases, it may warn you of a SQL VSS writer error, which is just a Windows component that we leverage to take backups of live running SQL databases. And so because that that writer is not functioning to its fullest. We were able to back up the database in a crash consistent state, but it is missing some of the additional features that you would want to have. So that would be another warning to address. So if you ever see a warning message that you aren't sure about or are not sure what to do, if you need to do anything at all, feel free to send those over to our support team at support@esilo.com, or to go ahead and check out our knowledge base online at esilo.com/KB, knowledge base, KB. And we should be able to help you get clarity on those warning messages. So thank you for tuning into this video. Please reach out if you have other questions. I'd love to be able to answer those on our next video. And if this was helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel below. Thanks.